Hey everyone, I'm Kendra.
And I'm Kayla.
And for today's video, we really want to focus on microaggressions. So I touched on this in another video, but today we want to dedicate some time to going over what microaggressions are and just giving a few examples because it's definitely a term that has been floating around a lot given the Black Lives Matter movement and just conversations that are happening right now. So what are microaggressions? So microaggressions are insults or put downs that people of marginalized communities, like people of color, women, members of the LGBTQ plus community, experience in their day-to-day lives.
So, for example, let's say a professor is saying to an Asian student, "Oh, you actually speak English so well," when English is actually their first language. It's basically them just associating this certain behavior or attitude with a race.
Yeah, it's also, for example, I've heard this a lot. People say to me, like, you don't even count as black. Like, you don't act black. You don't sound black. Like, you sound white. And basically, the term or the phrase "you sound white" is because in their mind I sound articulate, and they picture a black person not speaking like I speak, not being well spoken, essentially. So it just goes to show you that being white is held to such a higher standard. Like, white people are considered professional. White people are considered articulate. So yeah, I've heard this a lot. Like, wow, you sound so white. Like, you're not even black.
Yeah, we're called Oreos. I mean, I know we used to joke about that ourselves and call it, like, we used to say we're Oreos as well. But that's just because we heard it so many times. Like, we just didn't see a problem with it. But in reality, it really is an insult. Them having this certain depiction of what a black person should be, and just basically saying that, you know what, you guys don't act that way, so you guys don't count, you're not part of the community. And a lot of black people would actually say this to us. So I feel like everyone has been guilty of these microaggressions in one way or another. But yeah, we just felt like it was important to talk about it. And we especially want to talk about hearing "you're pretty for a black girl." I just feel like that has been said to us so many times. And I was talking to Kendra, my friend, the other day about it. And I remember in high school, we just used to always get so excited when we used to hear the white guys say that to us. Like, Beyonce's skin tone or lighter, or "you guys are fine, I wouldn't go any darker." Like, we'd actually get, I'm not gonna lie, like, we would actually get amped because we're accepted. And it was nice to see that, they chose us in a way. But now looking back at it, I'm just like, that's definitely an insult. Not a good thing to hear, but I feel like, not saying that they did this on purpose, like they meant to be insulting. I think they just
because some people say it without realizing.
Yeah,
that's the thing with microaggressions. Like, some people don't really say it to be an insult, but it kind of just comes off that way because technically it is. But they just get so comfortable with these stereotypes and these ideals that they have of a certain race that it just rolls off the tongue kind of thing, and it's not like they meant to be offensive. But some people do. But
yeah, so like I was saying, I feel like they just said it as a compliment. And at the time we did take it as such, but looking back at it, definitely an insult. But yeah, hearing those things like "you guys are acceptable, but darker than you," no, like, wouldn't work. And going back to a date I went on a few years ago, this guy basically, the server was a dark-skinned black girl, and she's a beautiful black girl. But yeah, when she walked away from our table, the first thing he said to me was, "Oh, you see that girl over there? She would never be able to come home to my parents. That skin tone doesn't work for me. You're acceptable, but for her, it would never work. I would basically get murdered by my parents." And I'm telling you guys, when he said this, my jaw was to the floor. Like, first of all, the fact that he had the audacity to say that to me as a black person. But again, he had this idea in his head, like, you're not really black because your skin tone is like, you're different. Like, he put me in a different category than her. Which, at the end of the day, dark-skinned women definitely do. Ooh, voice cracking. Definitely do have their own challenges. But yeah, it just made me really sad to hear that. And I guess he thought that I was gonna be happy as soon as he said that, but it turned out to be a long rant. Me basically going off, giving him all the scenarios and reasons why what he said was wrong. And I basically gave him the example. I'm like, are you expecting that if you chose to be with me, someone who's lighter, that, if we were potentially have kids, the kids will come out light and not dark? Because that's not how genes work, honey. I told him, I'm like, my dad's a dark-skinned man. Like, who knows? What if we were to have a kid and the kid comes out his color? Like, are you gonna shun the kid? Like, I was just giving him all different types of scenarios. But Yeah, but at the end of the day, I don't think he really got it. But if there were to be a second date, he definitely missed his opportunity by saying that.
Yeah, it just goes to show you like the mentality that some people have, and it's so sad.
Mm-hmm.
I just actually want to touch on this as well, that people often associate being black and ratchet as one thing, or being black and ghetto as one thing, when
Mm-hmm.
it's just two separate things. So that kind of association is where a lot of this "you sound white, you act white"
Yeah, comes from.
comments come from, is because they associate you with being ghetto or ratchet, or being loud in the room. Like, I know a lot of people, even some people, would say, "Oh, like black women are so strong and like argumentative," and it's just
like I wouldn't date a black girl because they're just gonna cause too much drama, cause too much fights. But then for certain groups, like I want to say Latinos, for them it's like seen as sexy for them to be aggressive, and it's just like it's just weird.
It's like, ooh, like I want me a spicy mommy.
Yeah,
like,
but
then
make,
like those weird kind of comments.
Yeah, but then for black women, it's like, ooh, steer far away from them because they got attitude. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
And yeah, and like just knowing this kind of judgment that exists, it just makes you not want to speak up or not want to push back and not do certain things, because people already associate being black with being argumentative and like you having an attitude. So while someone else may be able to argue and pipe up in a room, like I'm probably just gonna sit back or like lay low, because if I start piping up, like people are just gonna start looking like, ooh, like she's catching an attitude, like wow, like why are black people like this?
Yeah.
So
even come down to the way that we dress. Like you guys don't dress like and how typical black people dress, or just a whole bunch of things that I've heard. It's just ridiculous. And like we said, obviously some people don't mean to make it come off as an insult. It just rolls off the tongue sometimes. You're comfortable. But yeah, we just felt like it was necessary to talk about this, especially with what's going on right now. And yeah, this is definitely something that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, so hopefully you guys learned a little bit. We can honestly go on and on about microaggressions, but wanted to keep it short. But until next time, thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.
Bye.